RMBI gene, here to take you on another level and new horizons.
Hey everybody, my name is Reggie Maddox. I host the Simply Straight Talk show. Listen, I just want to talk to you real quick about Juneteenth, which was June 19th at the time of this video yesterday. And I originally posted another video about how I felt about Juneteenth, but I took it down. I said, you know what? I said, let me see how it all plays out. Let me see what comes of all of this. Now, I'm glad I took it down. Not because of what I said or what I felt. I'm glad I took it down because it now shows that everything I thought and said was true. Now, let's just get into why I think Juneteenth was a fail for the black community. Now, that is not a knock at the day itself. Now, for those of you who don't know, Juneteenth was basically, in a short version, in the state of Texas, there were some slaves who was not aware that the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed 2 years ago. 2 years ago now. I'm not talking about 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago. 2 years ago, the slaves did not realize that the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed 2 years ago. So, 2 years and some months later, a Union Army went to Texas and read the Emancipation Proclamation to the slave owners and the people of Texas. And the Confederates ended up just giving up. Now, so that became Juneteenth. That these slaves are, our ancestors who were in Texas at the time, the ones that was in Texas found out that, there was an Emancipation Proclamation signed, so that means there's no more slavery. So it took 2 years for it to get to Texas and some months, but that's another thing. I get off on a rant if I get into that. But anyway, so it became Juneteenth because on June 19th it happened. Now, this actually happened on the very land that Prairie View University is built on, which is a historical black college, which nobody is mentioning in all of this Juneteenth stuff. Nobody's mentioning the fact that on a historical black college grounds, this is where it took place. Nobody's acknowledging that. Because, and I can't understand that. How can you separate a holiday from the historical fact that a historical black college now resonates on that space? You know what I'm saying? And I don't get that. I don't understand that. Okay, I'm trying to keep my thoughts together. The other thing is, Juneteenth has become a promotion day because Black Lives Matter is selling stuff. Kamala Harris, is tweeting that me and my colleagues, we're gonna put a proposal together to make Juneteenth a holiday. Yeah. Y'all already know how I felt about Kamala Harris. And we have a lot of artists. Beyonce done came out with a song. Who else was it? And a few other groups came out, and people came out with songs on Juneteenth. And it's like, so y'all waited to Juneteenth to come out with these songs. Fake Kamala Harris and bandwagoner, which is all of the politicians, they see that whatever's a movement, here's my thing about it. I hate that the black community felt like we needed the white government's approval for this to be a holiday. We needed white privilege to say, here, you're privileged to have this holiday. That's how I feel. I feel like it's something that was like, give it to them so it can shut up, so they can shut up. Give it to them. Maybe they'll forget about all this protest and stuff. And it's like, companies are now saying they're going to honor Juneteenth. You got companies, Aunt Jemima talking about they're going to change the package of the box. What was it? The Florida Gators said they're not going to sing the Gator Bake song because of its racial ties. You know what? All of this stuff that y'all been doing, y'all knew it was tied. It was tied to racism. Y'all knew it was tied to racism. Y'all talking about some of y'all traditions that's been going for hundreds of years. You knew it was tied to racism. Now all of a sudden you want to change it because the opportunity presents a marketing selling point. That's it. Juneteenth has become a marketing selling point for a lot of these corporations, a lot of these businesses. That's what it is. Even some of these artists, it's a marketing selling point. It's strictly a marketing selling point. That's all it is. It's not about the holiday. It's not what the holiday really means. And you know, and the truth be told, they're saying that, yeah, during Juneteenth, the slavery, all slaves were free. And actually, that's not even true. It was written on paper that slaves were free, but there was still enslavement was still taking place. And here's the other thing. And here's why I have an issue with Juneteenth. Now, this is no disrespect to my ancestors, no disrespect to the slaves that were being held in Texas, but for you to say that slavery has ended, but you don't give freedom, to me, that's like putting a man in the desert and giving him a glass with no water. You know what I'm saying? It's like laying a bunch of glasses or cups in the desert, but no water. And it just feels like Juneteenth should have been something that should have been made an African American tradition. It shouldn't have been, the traditions for this day should not have been colonized. And that's what's going on. It's being colonized. It's become a marketing ploy for entertainers, corporations, businesses. It's become a marketing ploy. It's about making money. It should be about honoring, educating to our history, our heritage. I mean, I could see if people said, you know what? This is how we're going to do Juneteenth. Let's work with Prairie View University. Since it happened there at Prairie View University, let's on June 19th, let's make donations to Prairie View University, or let's donate to HBCUs. You know, let's work with Prairie View University. Let's see if we can have some type of commencement at Prairie View University. You know what I'm saying? Because it happened there. And I don't understand why we're overlooking that fact. I don't understand why we're not trying to create something that's going to bring unity, instead of bringing corporations and government into the picture that's going to create nothing but a marketing ploy, nothing but a profit-driven day. It's not going to be about our ancestors. It's not going to be about our heritage. It's not going to be about progression. It's going to be about politicians and corporations profiting from this via votes, via money, via land, via opportunity. That's what it's going to be about. And for Kamala Harris to say, We're going to make this a national holiday. Me and my colleagues are preparing a bill. There is so much more that needs to be worked on. There are so many other things. I'm not saying it can't be a holiday, but it should not be at the top of the list. It should not be at the top of the list. Listen, in just one day, and in a few weeks, they've already passed a bill about the LGBTQ community not being discriminated against. I mean, boom, done. But as African Americans, we can't get one bill passed because we got people like Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders. We got all these politicians who are, Republicans and Democrats alike. They're all the same to me. There's no difference because they benefit nobody and they do nothing. Only thing they do is try to empower themselves off of the struggles of others. Whatever the moving wave is at the moment, that's what they're riding. They're riding that wave. They're riding it. Because a lot of these things, if you really cared about, you could have initiated these things a long time ago. You could have been I can see if one of these politicians pushed for this 8 years ago, 9 years ago, pushing for police brutality, and it's like the whole thing about George Floyd now is under the water. Because right now, everybody has piled other things on top of the police brutality. Everything has just been piled on top of it. The LGBT community, the LGBTQ community has piled their things on top. You got the people going at the movie theaters. I mean, all this stuff is just put on top of what the protest was really about. And to me, it's just a big distraction. It's not about solving the problem. It's not about making everything better. It's about how can we gain from it? So that's what I say. And I say Juneteenth was a fail because as a black community, sometimes we have to learn that some things need to stay within the black community. We need to honor some things ourselves and find out how to honor some things by honoring our own. Because Juneteenth is just being sent out to the wind. And I feel bad. I feel bad because our youth are not going to have a true understanding of what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you want to fight for something, the Juneteenth holiday should not be at the top. Fight for our history books and history courses to be changed in school to where African American history is in place. It is being taught. Fight for that. Fight for that. That's what you need to fight for. Fight for the education of our history in schools so our students don't have to excavate their history. Their history should be just as prevalent as white history. Fight for real police reform. Fight for real social justice change. Changes in the judicial system. Changes in the communities. I mean, think about it. How many African American communities now have a community center? Most community centers, most cities have just done away with, especially in the black communities. They've gotten rid of them. These are the things we need to be fighting for. Let's fight for things in our communities to where when our kids get out of school, they have some place to go that can help them focus instead of just parents say, well, go out to the street or go play your video game. Give them something that can enhance their skills, enhance their abilities, give them a focus in life. Lower cost programs for the summer. This is the stuff we should be focusing on. But they want to focus on making Juneteenth a holiday. Led by the whitest black woman in Congress, Kamala Harris. You know, it just bothers me. You know what I'm saying? And people say, well, you know, you just don't like white people. No, I just don't like racism. I just don't like discrimination. I just don't like people being treated wrong. That's what I don't like. And we see it on these jobs. I guarantee there's so many black people who can tell you they have reported racism and discrimination in their job, and they have been punished for it. So this whole thing about the Civil Rights Act, you can't retaliate against somebody based on their race, skin color, or if you report something, that's a lie. Because they do it all the time. I know. Because of where I'm at right now, I know. I can tell you at a place I work where they literally bury issues when it comes to racism. When you got somebody that's had multiple complaints of being racist and discriminatory practices, and they do nothing, and they say, oh, well, there's not enough documentation. There is. You just don't want to see it. But that's America. That's the educational system, the police system, the corporate world, entertainment, movie industries. It is. It is. Well, I'm gonna keep this short. So that's it for now. I just wanted to express my opinions and my thoughts on that. So please, I thank y'all for listening. I thank y'all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear how you feel, what you think. So, but other than that, I'm gearing up for the next season of the Simply Straight Talk show. I definitely want to cover more HBCUs, sports, activity. So I'm definitely going to be kind of moving in that direction, which I covered a lot over the years, but I think I want to give a little bit more. So be listening up. We got some good things going, good things coming. So I will catch you guys next time.
It's time to tune in. This here's so fire. Empower your voice to inspire. Yeah, RMBI Gym.